My name is Melissa, and I am a birth mother. Long story short, I found out I was pregnant during my junior year of college. Knew I wasn't ready to parent, same with the father, and started setting up an open adoption plan with a local agency.
I had my daughter back in 91, summer of 91. I found out pretty late in the pregnancy that I was pregnant. Let's call that Egypt is not just a river in the, denial is not just a river in Egypt. Okay. I think a part of me maybe at the time was just thinking nothing was wrong, or I was young, I was 21 years old. Maybe I didn't want to face my situation. By the time that I did, the only option that I was given by my family, my parents, was, you're not bringing this child home to our house. We will not let you enter the door with her. We are going to look up, adoption lawyers, etc., and get that handled in that fashion. So the decision was not really mine. It was my parents. I was living at home, attending college, was still in school, had not finished, was working at an amusement park over the summer. So financially, without the blessing of my parents, the only choice I really had was to go that route.
I chose Travis and Heidi in the end. The key was building a relationship with them during my pregnancy. We just kind of got together, got to know each other a little bit. It was kind of awkward because they were strangers at the beginning, but the more we got to know each other, the better. They ended up being at the hospital while I was in labor, and I had Heidi come into the room and be my support person, and I didn't want her to miss her daughter's entering the world time. And that was kind of the opening the door of success right there. Since then, we have gotten together for holidays and birthdays and even just a few times in between.
Together to have lunch and dinners, and we have gone out for drinks, and we have shared trips to theme parks together, but never with my son. That is something that I just am not comfortable with. But she has always gone above and beyond, even when, you got to figure 13 years ago, it wasn't the norm to have an open adoption. So even then, she was only required to send pictures 4 times the first year and then once a year, every year thereafter. Every year since the day he was born up until he was 10, when Facebook really started getting popular, she sent me pictures for the first year every month. I got them even sometimes twice a month. And keep in mind, back 13 years ago, you actually had to print pictures out and do that.
There is no relationship. There hasn't been since Hannah was 4 years old. I beg your pardon, since she was maybe 6 years old. Interesting story behind that. Like I said, they were from Cleveland Heights and I was from Shaker Heights, a spit away from each other. Well, I moved to Cleveland Heights and I saw them at a Chinese restaurant in my neighborhood just by sheer happenstance. No rhyme or reason why, but I was walking by the restaurant, looked over, and there she was. I knew it was her. I had no doubt, and it was. My legs just about buckled. My heart started to race. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, I had to sit on a bench and just kind of gather myself a little bit. I went home and I came back, they were still eating, and I kind of sat back on that bench and just decided, well, I'm just going to sit here and kind of wait. I just wanted to see her in live and in person, but knew not to interfere or interrupt or anything. I was not going to do something like that, but I just wanted to sort of be there in that moment to see her in flesh. All I had previously were letters from the adoptive mom and pictures of her. And I saw her in her little beautiful little dress, and I fixed my eyes upon her dad, Duff, as his nickname is, Duff. He knew it was me. But I and he didn't have a negative look on his face, maybe a little shock, but we just looked at one another, but I just let them move along with the rest of their evening and to leave. And I know that was the mature and the right thing to do. There was no way I was going to interfere in this child's life at that stage at all. I wouldn't do something like that.
I think the main thing in all of that is honesty from both sides. There's times where I'm having a really tough week or a tough month, and I'm like, wow, I have not seen Zoe or her family in a while. I think it would really help. So I would reach out and just be like, hey, are you guys doing anything this weekend? Can we get together? And a lot of times they're busy people. They have their own lives. So we have to work together to find times that do work. But those always happen. And as long as we keep it a priority to get together for those special events, they always set aside, like, they'll do their holiday stuff, but then they'll have me and my parents and my sister over, and we can just give her our presents, and it doesn't make it awkward, but it gives us a chance to just catch up on their lives and our lives and everything.
I had always told them that I really wanted to meet her someday. Like, that was pretty much understood. Like, I always thought when she was an adult that would be what she'd want to do. Like, it was told to me that could happen, or I always assumed that was part of the process, to be honest with you. When Hannah turned 18, my birth child, I reached out first to the attorney I dealt with, touched base with her, said, do you think Hannah would want to meet me? Should I reach out on Facebook? I noticed she does have a profile. I kept my distance for a long time. We didn't have no pictures transpired or letters after that meeting that seeing one another by chance back years earlier. I reached out to the attorney and I asked Becky, what do you think? Should I do? I wanted to get advice from her. I wasn't just going to jump in head first without speaking to her. And she said, I think she would love that. So I reached out to her on her birthday when she turned 18. And I was waiting. I'm like, oh man, she didn't come back to me. And I just kind of let it go. And then maybe 2 weeks later, she did message me back finally.
But she has always gone above and beyond. And I think for me, when I said I wanted to open adoption and she agreed to it, because my attorney even told me that's not something that is a normal practice. Families aren't going to agree to meet up with you yearly. And it was something that even then I didn't even know about. And I was like, no, this is what I want.
And she said, I know it must have been really hard to have given me up. I've lived this wonderful life, but I'm not ready as just an 18-year-old to meet you. And I told her, I respect your decision. It is your decision, but here's my number. Here's my address. You have 2 half siblings. Someday when you're ready, like, my door will be open to you anytime. If you need me for anything ever, I will always, that door will be open for you.
And after I met her and built a relationship with her and her husband, I didn't really feel the need. I had a good relationship with her. I'm awkward. I talk a lot. I ramble. So it's not something that I really, necessarily pursued. But because I have an amazing relationship with her, if there are medical issues, we call each other. If we have questions about, things that are going on in their lives, we call each other. And that's important to me. And I think that based on me and my preferences, we have an amazing relationship. And that's, how it is.
And so I'm definitely happy with the relationship, but honesty is what always has to stay top of mind, because that's what makes it all work. So